from Chess Kid, and I'm looking forward to see how many kids I actually have done great throughout the program. Hopefully, we're gonna get a view of the first couple games that we're gonna be analyzing today. First section that I'm gonna be looking at analyzing is under 1,000, and I see, I mean, GNT over 1,000, and I see that we got a couple of kids just in right now. I see Hunter Court from PS11. I see Cole from PS33, Chloe. I see Jacob. I see a couple of you kids, Benjamin, Elliot, Gurvich. I see Santiago. I see a couple of you kids that throughout the program, you guys have been pioneers. You guys have been working hard. You guys have been training. So hopefully today I'm gonna have an opportunity to just view those games and see how you guys are being doing. So for this first game, guys, I'm gonna be viewing. Let me see who am I gonna pull out for the first game. Our first game that I'm gonna be viewing is Nathan. So who did Nathan actually play in this first game, guys? Because this game against it's very interesting for me. So I see Nathan from PS41 play. Who did actually he plays? Oh, Santiago. He's a good, strong kid. I met him a while ago. So what we're gonna be doing, I want to see how they actually play the opening because again, I haven't seen Santiago in a while, but hopefully let's see how he actually did throughout this game. So I see that they actually play a move like E4. E4 is a very normal concept move. If you guys understand normal development, actually E4 is a move that helps you control the center. And it could be very aggressive, and you have to know what you're doing if you're playing E4 because there's a lot of tactical shots when you're playing E4, guys. So right now, what I'm gonna be basically working on is on the way that you guys play the opening. So it's very interesting. E5, knight f3, knight c6. Again, this is all main theory, classical. A lot of the best games throughout the chess, it's been this type of position, very classical. So knight c3, knight f6. Ooh, the four knights opening. I haven't seen this in a while. This opening is very interesting for me because it reminds me when I was young and I used to play this kind of tactical opening. So again, this could be a little bit crazy with bishop b5, main theory. One of the best possible moves after bishop b5 is just to bring knight to all the way to d4 and just counter attack in the center. But let me see what the way they play. Bishop b4, it seems like a normal move. They want to try to trade knights and hopefully gain advantage in the center. Castling, castle, d3, d6. Right now, again, this is normal. Nobody hasn't committed themselves on trading pieces. And that's good because if you don't commit early on in the opening trading pieces, that means that you have a better possibility for looking tactical shots. So bishop d5, h6. Now we notice in this position, again, it's tricky and it's normal. Right now, what's happening here is that the best possible move in this position is not to play bishop h4. The best possible move in this game, the game that Nathan played, is to eat the knight and you win a piece. After bishop takes knight, queen is gonna take. And after queen takes, you're gonna play knight d5. After knight d5, you basically win a piece because I'm forking the bishop and b4. And at the same time, what I'm doing is I'm attacking the queen on f6. And after I move my queen all the way to d8, I can just take the knight with the bishop and take the hanging piece on b4. So guys, again, this position, you have to be aware of your tactical shots, like I was telling you guys before. So after h6, bishop h4 is not the best move. It's just take the knight, queen takes bishop, and knight d5, forking the bishop and the queen and hitting the knight with the ideas of taking bishop takes knight and then take the free piece. Guys, again, this is all based on basic tactics. But all right, bishop h4, bishop d5. Now you're giving an opportunity here. You cannot waste this opportunity. Right now you have the same idea. Bishop g5, right? Santiago played bishop g5. I'm not a big fan of bishop g5, but again, it's a good way for you guys to keep playing. Bishop g5 in this position, guys, it could be a little bit tricky. You know why? Because the bishop g4 could be a little bit tricky because now black has the idea of playing knight d4. So we had to just take now. Bishop takes take on b2. Ooh, what's going on in here? Everybody's mimicking this exact same position. And again, I'm not saying it's bad, but there's a lot of ways of playing because right now, the best possible move here for white is to play rook b1. But instead, white actually took the rook. And again, that's not the best response in this position. The best response is to play rook b1. With rook b1, what you're basically doing is attacking the bishop and hitting the rook at the same time. One of the reasons why we don't mimic in a chess game is because you have your own free will to just look for the best response and not mimic your opponent, because basically what you're doing is just wasting time. Rook b1 would have just that move would have won the game right away. But right now, you're giving basically oh, sorry guys, basically you guys giving him a chance. You guys basically, since you guys are mimicking basically what's going on, you're giving your opponent another chance to just capitalize on those kind of mistakes. So right now, bishop takes, bishop d5. Interesting. Again, the same idea. In this position, you have to just play h3 and just g4 and keep attacking. In this position, I see a lot of mimicking. And again, that's not good in a chess game because you want to try to have advantage on any position. Bishop takes, you take. And after queen takes, the game is a wrap because you're losing the game. See? Every time you mimic your opponent, you end up basically losing the game because that's bad on any position. If rook G, check, I move, take, check, and basically what is going on here that it's checkmate. Again, a lot of positions on the chess game, it's based on the way you play the opening. One of the reasons that a lot of the games throughout E4 has their own independent variation is for the reason that you can just choose within those variations and try to apply normal concept, tactics, and everything. But if you mimic your opponent like this game, it could be a sword of double edge for either each players because anything can happen. Like Santiago that he actually mimicked his opponent and he ended up basically blundering a queen. But either way, it was a good game for both of you kids. You guys played pretty good. Um, Again, my best piece of advice is just to work on um, tactics, and hopefully you guys are going to be able to get it. Let me view another interesting game that I saw here that I want to look at, and it's the game from Hunter Court. Hunter Cork is an upcoming kid from PS10. He's a very, very strong kid. And it's surprising because I had the opportunity to work with him in camp a couple days, and I had the chance to basically see him play. And the kid, he's very promising. I like the way he plays. He's very tactical. Um, Nothing. So what we're gonna be checking out in this game is the way he played. He played E4, C5. I want to see who he's actually playing because C5, he's playing Benjamin. Um, C5, very tough opening Sicilian defense. There's a lot of ways to play the Sicilian defense. Um, Again, a lot of variations. You got a variation Nardov, you got Sevenigin, Taimanov, Pan. There's a lot of different variations in the Sicilian defense. But right now, let's see how the court Hunter Court played. Knight f3, normal development, a good way to proceed. Breaking through on the d4 square because again, the idea of playing knight f3 in the Sicilian defense is to actually play d4 so you can break through the central squares and gain space advantage on any opening. So right now, knight c6, very normal development, guys. Um, Very normal development. I see what's going on in here. So knight c6 controls d4, but again, bishop b5. Interesting. Rosolimo attack. So very interesting opening that Hunter choose. I'm not a well versified in this opening, Rosolimo, because you have to have a lot of positional concept. At one point, you had to just take the knight, but it's very interesting because I like seeing games like that. G6, knight c3, normal. That's normal. I'd rather just play in this position, bishop takes knight, and just go for the center pawn and play d4, or just play c3 and go to d4 and maintain advantage on the center. But again, g6 is not the best move. The best possible move is you go knight d4, and if knight takes, you take back with the pawn, and then you can either play g6. And what we basically doing is that's the main plan on this opening. G6, knight c3, bishop g7. Now in this position, it's going to be very hard for white to just break through with d4. D4 now is, I don't see that happening anytime soon. Um, Again, very interesting the way that they chose how to play this position because if bishop takes knight, now d, oh, sorry guys, kind of after that kind of move, if if bishop takes, D can just take and maintain a strong grip in the dark squares. And we don't want that. But instead, let me see what Kirk Hunter did. He played D3, very solid chess, A6. And now knight f6. All right, this looks kind of normal. Bishop e4, not exactly. I should have just played in this position h3 or bishop e3, but either or it's good. Bishop f4 doesn't seem nothing wrong with it. Castle d6. Now this position looks a little bit better for black because actually what d6 does is hold the position, stops e5 from coming, and at the same time, guys, it's controlling very strong squares on d4. So with that being said, you have to be very mindful. White has to be very mindful of the way he's going to be playing. For example, this exact same position, the best response is to take bishop takes knight. And after bishop takes knight, pawn take and go with d4, or just go with rook e1 instead. But bishop b3, and now black has totally advantage on the central squares, dark squares, everything right now. Because the advantage that black is going to create now after playing bishop g4, and again, this could be very promising for white. This might be a very tactical position as well, with ideas of sacrificing piece and everything. Bishop g4 is the best possible move that black can play in this position. Where the idea of bishop g4 is actually taking the knight, and again, controlling, having a strong grip in the dark squares. So I see in the position they play h3. I'm not a big fan of h3 realistically. Um, Benjamin played pretty good from this point on, but Hunter H3 is not one of the best moves in the position. The best move in this position is, to be honest, move Bishop E3 and go with it. Go with the flow because Bishop E3 again it holds the position. Or if you want to play just tactical, just play Rook E1. Um, and just play with the pawn structure, just a double. It's a little bit more advanced, but it has the idea of just playing at 4 eventually. So, all right, h3, you stop that, and rook e1. Again, you play the same plan, rook e1. So after queen c8, ooh, the idea, it looks mad dangerous. Queen c8, it looks like black is going to sacrifice all the way in h3. And again, it could be a little bit complicated, but let's see. Knight d5, knight takes, pawn takes, knight d5. So basically right now what we're seeing is we are controlling the dark squares, what we were talking about. Oh, we got Coach Nash in the house. We're gonna be reviewing a game from Matilda from PS33 soon. So guys, don't leave. So nothing. So hopefully we're gonna knight takes, bishop takes. After c3, bishop g7, but now white is slightly better because black has lose a pawn. After c3, the best possible move was to move bishop f6. Bishop f6 actually makes the position hold a lot stronger, and you can just try to look for your resources and play b5 and b4. But instead, by playing bishop g7, you just gave your opponent an opportunity to just trade pieces and make his position a lot better right now. So after bishop f6, rook e3, and this position basically looks super strong for white. And again, Benjamin played pretty good playing b5, the plan that we were discussing about. But right now, I see b5 a little bit too late. He should have just played bishop f6 directly. But instead, right now, what's going on is that white could just take the pawn on d6 and just keep moving forward with his attack. So let's see how this game actually ends. Bishop takes, rook e8, you take, queen takes, trade queens, rooks, and c4 holding the position. Again, c4 not a big fan of it, but it has a lot of own ideas. c4, bishop a6, take, queen takes. Oh, he went for it. Let me just go back a little bit. It looks interesting. Bishop sacrifice. Uh, let's see what's gonna happen. After you take, and I got queen e4. Now bishop g3. I would have just rather play queen e4 and f4 and trade with queen g2. It's a good position for either both sides, but it could be a little bit messy, guys. But bishop g3 holding the position. But let me see how they actually proceed in this attack. Bishop h4 trading pieces. Guys, whenever, let me give you my best piece of advice. Whenever you sacrifice pieces, you have to be aware that you have to have more than one piece attacking your surrounding king. If you only got one piece and you sacrifice that, that's not a good sacrifice. Like this is a good example of how we can actually see that sacrifice, even though it wasn't bad, but you needed more pieces to back that sacrifice up. So after bishop h4, Hunter played queen f1, and just at now this position is just basically a wrap winning for white. After trading all the pieces on Tate, we basically have a strong center. So now black is in a very strong binding because this position, again, you're a piece down, white has a bishop up, a rook up, open files. Even though white has a weakness on g3, realistically, the piece compensates for that weakness that we hold down. A5, bishop c2, rook ba, b3. Again, this is all basically just a winning position. But don't get me wrong, because if black plays correctly, he can actually look for a counterplay on the queen side. Um, After trading all the pieces, check f5. It's just a matter of how to play realistically. Oh, g4. Look, guys, this game sounds very interesting the way that they're actually playing because Benjamin is trying to hold it down with giving checks, and basically try to just open up the position like that. So right now, let's keep looking at the position. Check on g2, king e3, takes the pawn, but not pawn takes. So after just capitalizing on the weaknesses on the queen side, white is just a matter of winning a couple minutes of winning the game because realistically, and it's funny, I saw this game mad early. I was watching it when they Coach Jonathan and Coach Kenny were commentating this. I watched this actually this exact same position, but either way, this game is very fascinating because even though it's a piece down, you can still look for resources. But as we noticed, after pieces trade, basically white wins the position. But either way, that was a great game for either both players. I really enjoyed the way they played. They play pretty good. I'm gonna be checking the game. I think it's for under 300. I'm very interested to look in that game. Let me just go back a little bit and just look for that section. If I'm not mistaken, it's under 300. It's a game that Matilda, I think she played. Let me see if I can still get it. Um, Let me see, under 300, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check under the section of 300. Tournaments, finish. Let me see how they actually played. I think they played in the 4 o'clock one. Let me see if I could get her name. Because I don't see her on the list. So hopefully Matilda from PS33. Let me see if I see her name here. Jackie. Oh, Jackie, my girl from PS33. I see Ryan. They play Parker. Good job. Samara from PS59. She's with me as well. Oliver. Let me see. Mason. I see a couple of you kids. I don't see Matilda's game here. Apparently she's not here. Well, either way, we're gonna come back at it hopefully within the next 10, 20 minutes. I don't see her game here. I don't know. It might be the system or something. But either way, let me just go back again, guys. I'm sorry, I apologize. Let me just go back again and check the games that from under 1,000, over 1,000. Let me see how you guys play. I want to check the upper tier. I want to see how the guys actually doing in that section because that section is mad challenging, and I really enjoy the way they play because again, the tough section is mad It's mad funny. I really enjoy those. Well, I enjoy all the games, but especially this section because they have a lot of more creativity. I see Kyle Linden playing, Caleb Brothers, um, Avansky. Very interesting. I want to see how Avansky is playing because Avansky, he's a pioneer from PS11. Very strong, strong kid. He's again an upcoming kid. He's doing great, and I love the way he plays. He plays E4 and he plays tactical. I seen games from this kid that he's very creative. And as black, he plays the Sicilian as well. So let me see. Oh, he played Darren, Mr. Darren Reese from PS59. This is gonna be a good matchup. So let me see the way they play. They play E4. Vansky play E4. Very tactical opening, guys. E4, C5, normal, knight F3, D6, D4, normal standard opening, D takes, knight F6, Knight C3. Guys, this is a very normal standard opening. Usually I try to teach this on my classes because what the plan is breaking on D4, you're actually controlling with the knight the central squares. So that's a good way to just maintain a grip on the position, guys. So let me keep reviewing how you guys are doing. D4, normal standard opening. After G6, you're playing the dragon variation. Very interesting. I'm a big fan. I love the dragon. The dragon is very tactical. And the way that this opening proceed is you can just either play tactical with the dark squares all the way pressuring B2, C3, D4. And again, it's very good if you're gonna play open. Bishop G7, Bishop E3, Castle, Queen D2. Everything is still theory, and no one has an advantage yet on this position. Hopefully, we're gonna determine that in the next couple moves who's gonna keep their advantage. Knight C6, G4. Wow, I haven't seen this line in a minute. This line is very tactical. G4, you had to be aware of the stuff that's going on with G4. The thing about G4 is that Black has a very interesting sacrifice here. Not a lot of players know the sacrifice. I think I saw a game between Hikaru Nakamura, and I'm not mistaken, Magnus Carlsen. Actually it was the exact same position where Nakamura played Bishop takes G4, F takes, and knight takes. The idea knight takes is to just maintain a strong grip on the dark squares. And if bishop moves all the way to G1, you can just play bishop D7. And after castling, you play bishop A6 and won the queen. That is the idea of playing this system. But G4, it could be tough. E5, good job for Mr. Reese. He's countering in the center. G4, knight H5, pawn takes, knight takes, and again, it could be a little bit crazy because even though this position is very interesting right now, there's a lot of stuff going on. So this position again, it's very interesting what's going on because after E6, you had to be aware that there's a lot of tactical shots in this position for either both sides. So, but what I actually don't get in this position was after G5, you can just do knight take. You do knight takes first, and if pawn takes knight, you just do knight F3. Takes with check and fork the queen. But all right, in this position after knight takes, bishop takes, you're gonna trade all your pieces and you're a pawn down, you're in a disadvantage because knight F6. Knight F6 basically what it does is wins the position, guys. It creates a lot of counterplay in the position, and we don't want to do that on any given time of the position. So right now, we're gonna keep viewing a little bit, guys. Oh, I see someone in the chat just commented. Let me see. I got a couple people here. Hey, Coach Figgy. I got Coach Erica with me as well. Good job. Um, Nash, hey, Leo. Leo, oh, all right. I'm happy to see Leo online. All right, guys. So let's keep reviewing this position. Again, it's very interesting after knight f6. You trade queens, and again, you have to be aware of what's going on in this position because white is going to totally explode black's position after playing h4, h5, and just create an early attack on the king side, guys. So c8, we're gonna play king b1. Very good move, safe move, because again, we just want to try to keep the advantage on the position. Once we keep the advantage in the position, that will be the best possible way to just keep going forward with the attack. Rook d8, bishop d3, normal move, and it's one of the best possible moves because it reinforced e4. So let's keep reaching after rook d6, h4. We're just gonna keep attacking, opening the lines though. I like this kind of position after rook h3 for Avansky because even though it's actually playing passively, this position could turn actually very, very tactical for either both sides. Bishop c4 from Mr. Rees. Darren played pretty good this position. Bishop takes. Oh, Bishop takes is check. That was my mistake. That's a blunder. And after take takes king c1. Wow. Let me look at it because I thought it was in check. This position just b5, I think b5, and just play after b5. You can just play bishop c4. But playing bishop c4 like that is just too rough. Basically, it's a piece down, and now the game is going to be basically a wrap. After check, oh, wow, I'm watching it. I'm a little bit surprised, guys. After rook f4, we just trade all the pieces, and then this just basically what it does is wants the whole game. Either way, that was a great game for either both players. Mr. Darren Reese played pretty good, and again, he did great. It's a little bit fascinating the way they play. Let me check another game that very fascinating. Hey, Jude, I miss you. That's one of my kids from PS 59. Well, he works with Coach Jonathan, but I love that little kid. So nothing. I'm happy you're here in the chat. Let's keep reviewing a couple of games. Let me see if you actually played, Jude, because I want to see if you're doing all right in the tournament. Let me see. I see Caleb, Chansey, Jude from PS59. Let's review. Let's review the game a little bit, Jude. I want to see how you actually did on your game. Oh, wait. Let me just go back. I'm sorry. Apologize for that, guys. Jude, let me see your first game. Let me see how you actually did on your opening. So for this opening, I see that Jude is black. Obviously, I know his style. He's going to play the Arakan defense. So, you know how many discussions I have with him throughout the program that the Caracan, I don't like it for him. I like the Sicilian better, but all right. So he's playing Chen Yu from PS59. Very strong young girl, man. She's very strong. So after E4, C6, B4, D5. Again, this is very normal. The way that the Caracan works is you want to try to maintain their position very solid in a game. So let's keep reviewing the way she plays knight c3, normal development. I love that. Takes, knight takes. Again, there's a lot of ways to play in the Caracan, especially this kind of position. You can play this position basically playing knight f6, e6. There's a lot of other different variations in this typical position, like e6, knight f6, and then they push e4, knight d7. Um, oh, sorry for that. Or again, there's a lot of different variations. Knight f6, I'm not a big fan of knight f6 because you're gonna enter in a position what we basically call a pawn structure double, and this is in the Caracan. E taking is not the best move, Jude. Let me just tell you why. The idea of e taking, again, I understand that freeing the bishop is good, but you had to play more creative, more tactical, and especially this kind of position. One of the best possible moves here is to just do g takes. They're both good lines, but the most aggressive one is G takes. But all right, E takes, normal, knight f3, bishop d6, bishop d3, castle, castle. Rook e8. Now we get into the position that's very crucial. If rook e8, white can play h3. So that basically stops your attack. One of the main ideas of playing Caracan is to just try to pin right away your knight, especially in a position where you feel inferior, because your position is not as solid as white. After rook e8, rook e1, I don't trying to kind of play a little bit weird with rook e1. Should you just play h3 and maintain the position very solid? H3 stopping the bishop to go to g4. Bishop E6 in the position, all right, seems normal. Bishop E3, knight D7, C4, controlling the center. Knight F8, interesting. B3, Queen C7, normal. This is normal in the Caro-Kann. Rook C1. I like Rook C1 a little bit, not as much as I should just play H3 and stop the pin. Again, you had to be aware that you had to go to Leo. I like Leo. Leo's online, man. Leo, good job, man. Appreciate it. So this idea is very interesting because if Rook C on one, it's basically again you're giving Black an opportunity to just play Bishop G4. I just rather play H3 and stop the threat of just pinning my knight. But Rook C1, very interesting. Bishop G4. I know Dude was gonna go for it. So after playing H3, just go back. No, I don't like Bishop E6. I just maintain the pin. Play Bishop H4. What's the worst thing that can happen in this position? G4? That's good for you because now your knight is going to go to E6 and control F4. So nothing. After Bishop E6, D5. Ooh, very interesting position. I like that move for Chen. I like that move because there's a lot of ideas. There's very strong ideas in this position. If C takes, I like C4. I mean, C4 goes to C5. After C4 goes to C5, you just basically can just take advantage of the weak square on D4. Plus, you basically gonna almost have a passed pawn. So in this position, you play correctly, Bishop D7. But if C takes, you lose a piece, basically, because it's gonna be double attack. Plus, at the same time, has the idea of playing C5 as well. Bishop D7, C5. Again, good job. Chen Yu's playing super great. With C5, it's just a lot of stuff going on in this position. And after D6, again, the position is turning up a little bit more complicated. Queen D7, knight takes, rook takes. F4, maintaining a strong grip on the position. I'm not a big fan of Queen D2. Queen D2 isolates from white squares. We don't want to do that. Instead, we want to try to keep the position as open as possible, especially since you got the pair of bishops very actively, and I feel comfortable with that. But right now, Queen D2, I don't see that as the best possible move. I think the best response in this position is playing Queen F3 and just going for G4 and try to press on the doors on the light squares. So, all right, Bishop takes, and oh wow, King F1, Bishop G2, and now basically what we're gonna see is a sacrifice, and that's funny because we actually were talking about that on the previous game. We were analyzing basically the sacrifice that Mr. Darren Reese did, and that wasn't a proper sacrifice. I think this position, you don't have to sacrifice. You just have to keep your position tight. You could have just played in this position like Bishop F5, try to trade pieces, and just reroute your knight to D7, hopefully controlling the squares. Um, Bishop takes. I don't see that as the best response in this position because the position actually white can protect. So after Bishop G2, Knight G6, Queen F2, I'm just defending the whole position. And now it's gonna get a little bit complicated because once all the pieces are traded, those two pawns, they're gonna be super difficult to just protect here. Bishop take, in this position, right after A3, A5 takes. The best possible move here, guys, is to just take with the bishop. Take with the bishop, and you're gonna maintain a very strong position. And at the same time, you're gonna be able to open up a file, a potential file on the position. So pawn takes. I'm not a big fan, but it's playable. It's one of the best moves I think right now. Um, Rook A8, you're taking advantage, but now it's going to be a little bit more complicated after check, King F1. And basically, it just stops everything that's going on in the position right now. Check, trade pieces. And again, very interesting game that Jude played. He's down a lot of material in the position. Hopefully, he's going to learn from this game. Um, One of the best ways again to play this is specific variation as black is you had to go early on the opening and just right away just play, try to just pin the knight because in that specific variation, right? After knight f3, you just had to just pin your bishop on g4 and your bishop on g4. Every time you get a position like this, always go for pinning, pin the knight. That's the best variation in this position. But good job, Jude. Overall, you played pretty good in the position. A couple of inaccuracies, to be honest. And I love you, kid. I love you with my heart. But realistically, try to just work on that specific position. Again, you just had to just be aware of what's going on and just take advantage of those little squares. Again, the Caracan is based on always pinning and try to keep your position very, very strong. Have a strong, strong grip. So let's view at another game I want to look at from this section. Let me see who else we got here. Oh, Simone. Simone is playing. Let me see. Very interesting. I haven't seen Simone play in a while. Let me see how she actually does. She's from PS 33. She was a student from Coach Angel. Coach Angel, another good super coach, excellent coach. Um, he taught this little girl as she was super young. And let's see how this position actually goes. D4, native says she plays pretty solid, to be honest. She's playing by yeah for PS33, I think. Wow. So nothing. D4 is very normal. Let's see how the position goes. Native says bishop f4, d6. I like this. I like this as black because I played this. This system is very symmetrical, it's very strong, and it could transpose into a Benoni. It can transpose into a Queen's Indian. It could transpose into a lot of different openings, and I like it because it's very flexible. So let's keep going. After knight c3, bishop g7, e4, d6, normal, knight d7. Again, knight d7, you had to be aware with knight d7. There's ideas with e5, pawn takes back, and I can just play e6. So Simone, if you ever get a chance to watch this video, I want you to be aware of those little tactical shots, especially on a position that if you're not used to playing, there's a lot of tactical shots like e5 right now, e5 pawn takes, and after knight g4 e6, and after e6, it's just basically you're gonna be a pawn up, but it's gonna be mad difficult to just take advantage of that pawn because again, white is going to have a lot of compensation. White can actually play a plan like h4 and h5. But all right, castle queenside, castle kingside, bishop e2. I'm not a big fan of bishop e2. I usually just in this position you're going to just play f3. But rook e8, e5. Now you in trouble. And it's funny because I didn't actually view the game. I just actually mentioned it. But he had e5 met early in the game, and now he decided to play it. And after e5, you just basically it's gonna be hard. In this position though, very interesting. I like this position for white. But this position right now is very interesting because this is a very strong move, and that's the move that we actually spoke of. We spoke of e6. What's the idea of e6 on the position? We want to try to open up the king as most as possible, and at the same time create weaknesses. And at the same time, that knight is pinned. The bishop, the idea of e6 is to just leave your bishop all the way trapped on c8. Sacrifice. That's what we call a positional sacrifice, guys. And again, this position could be a little bit tricky, but it's a positional sacrifice, e6. But all right, queen e2, c6, queen takes pawn, knight f3, and knight f6. Interesting, because if knight f6 now, we got a lot of stuff going on in here. But we got a strong move like queen h4. After knight d5, knight takes, and h3. This is a good position because right now, even though it's interesting, there's a lot of stuff going. Bishop a6, bishop takes e4. Ooh, ooh, this game I'm starting to like it now, huh? This game I'm starting to like this for black, I think. Very interesting now. This game has, given another course. So right now it's very interesting. So let's see, knight f3, queen c5. Wow. But in this position, let's go back a little bit. I want to see what could actually be done in this position. In this position, I think I think I should have just played rook c8. I just give the knight away. Just give the bishop. I'm sorry, guys. Just give the bishop away. Rook ec8. Rook ec8, I think, is the most strongest move in the position. Rook ec8, and you just maintain a strong grip. And if they play c3, a move like c3, then you could do bishop take c3. And if pawn takes, queen take, checkmate. I think that's the best possible move. Yeah, I think so. Let me see. After knight d5, knight f3, rook c8, I think wins on the spot. If they play c3, you can just, or you can even do rook take c3 as well. Oh, I'm sorry. It went all the way down, guys. You can just do queen c3 as well, guys. This position is very interesting. I like this for black right now. At one point, I really enjoyed white's position, but right now, after this variation, I think just black is doing all right. It's actually winning with rook c8 wins. But all right, queen c5, rook d2, bishop f6, d5. I think e6 is the best possible move here. I don't like now the position here for white. For white, it seems a little bit crazy right now. What's going on? Let me view a little bit. Let's go back. At the rook e1, queen b4 and queen b5 is the wrong move. You should have just played e6. E6 and that's it. But after knight d5, you just gave your strong bishop in this position. And now this position, is going down for white. Let me see. Queen b2, very interesting because I see Simona still fighting. Queen d5, check. Queen c6. This looks like actually like a draw though, because there's a lot of ways to keep playing this. Check. Oh, this position now looks interesting. The same idea. Rook c8, check. King g7. But at the end of the day, I think this is gonna be a draw. Oh, not a draw. This position actually white is winning right now. If it's able to convert and trade pieces, let's go a little bit to the back right now because after queen takes b7, queen f3, right? Queen c7. And I'm seeing there's a lot of stuff going on in here, but again, this position, white should definitely win after bishop d4. I don't see they trade, but they actually trade bishops in this position. I would have not traded bishop. I would have just taken advantage of the f6 pawn and try to play for the advantage. Instead, they traded pieces, and let's see how this end games unfolds. Basically, this end game, it looks like white is winning, completely winning, but you never know. Let's keep pushing. H5, H3, keep going. F5, and now this position, it looks like it's going to be a draw because there's no way to just take advantage of that position. And again, very interesting the way that Simone plays. Simone actually hold the position down pretty well. Even though she was 2 pawns down, she tried to hold the position very down, and that's good on her part. Let me just view another game. I'm very fascinating. I want to see how not Simone. I want to see how Rosie from PS 33 did. Um, let's see how she actually played. Rosie. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just go a little bit back, guys. I want to see how she actually was able to manage her position as well. Very strong player. She played Nicholas for Trinity. Interesting. Trinity, that school, they got good students. They play very tough chess. So let me see how this game actually does involve. Rosie plays native sits again, Angel style, Coach Angel style. I like that kind of style. D5, E6, E3, C4, guys. E6. This position, I'm not a big fan for black because after E6, actually white can actually play in this position. Queen B3. After queen b3 in this position, again, it could be a little bit interesting because you had to play queen c8 at one point on any position. But again, this position is a little bit interesting. Knight c3, she takes. Again, Rosie, if you ever watch this video, not taking the pawn is the best response. Just play c6 and maintain the position very strong, tight. That's the best possible way for you to keep the position very tight. Give me a minute, guys. Excuse me. So that's the best possible way, guys, for you to keep the position very, very tight. So C6, I think C6 is the best possible move in the position. But again, she took bishop C4, very normal standard move, right? So bishop D6. You don't trade pieces if your position is not solid. Why will people trade pieces? Instead, Rosie, play bishop E7, or just play knight BD7 or C6. Try to maintain your position super solid. Bishop D6, bishop D4, D5, bishop e7, knight f3. Right now, again, this position is very normal, very Queen's Gambit style. That position is very normal. Knight bd7, normal opening, castle, castling, um, king side, rook e1, h6. Good move. H6, you win a tempo. You actually force your opponent. And even though we talk about tempo and a lot of the times, this exact same position, you win the tempo only for the fact that you got your knight on BD7, and at the same time, you got a bishop on E7. So after bishop f4, knight B6, very interesting. But if you're going to play knight B6, you should have just played C6 with the idea of playing B5. So you can just bring your knight to D5. But good job, bishop B3, knight E4. Again, we spoke about trading and value of the pieces, and especially on a position like this. You have to be very aggressive if you're going to play a position like this. And when we talk about being aggressive, you have to just break the center. You don't play Rook E1 in the Queen's Gambit right away. Again, you just have to maintain your position very solid. One of the best possible moves for me, I would have just played C5, and after E4, you could just play Bishop G4, putting the knight. Again, taking advantage on the D4 square. And if they play something like E5 attacking your knight, you just play knight F6, D5. And your position is going to be super, super strong after that particular variation. So right now, knight E4, I'm not a big fan. You trade pieces. Bishop D6, take, pawn takes. Very good, though. Rosie was able to actually convert. Nicholas played pretty good from this position. But again, this position, I think Black is almost equal. Black almost catch up on the position after knight bd7, bishop g6. Bishop g6, I'm not a big fan. Just play bishop c6. Bishop c6. He's not gonna play e4. And if he does play c4, better for you. But again, bishop g6, queen e2, rook c8. Very interesting. You're maintaining the tension between the rooks, and you don't want to commit your position early on in the opening. Rosie played pretty solid. Again, very fascinating game. But there was a lot of ways to play this. Like you can stop a lot of threats with queen a6, rook takes, and by playing a6. So rook takes, queen d7, knight g3. Knight g3. I don't see the idea. I don't, knight g3. I don't follow the idea of knight g3. Um, was basically the idea playing h4, h5. I mean, or f4, f5, something like that. You should have just played, instead of playing that move, you should have just played f3 or e4. Just e4 or f3 and just try to go for a position like that. Keep it solid. Knight g3, queen d2, d5, h3, rook c7. I like this position now. This position actually is pretty good for black as well. Queen c8, you trade, and knight f4. This position looks pretty good. Knight c3, trade queens. Basically, this position, everybody's trading pieces. I think from a positional aspect of the game, this position is actually pretty good for white. A little bit slightly better for white or black. Nah, I like black a little bit in this position as well because it controls the whole diagonal from h7 all the way to b1. Your knight can eventually go to c4, and if white try to play a plan like b3, the bishop is stuck in that diagonal between e2, f3, g4, and h5. So you can just reroute your knight all the way to c6 and look for different squares. Very interesting. King f1, king f8, keep moving your kings. Rosie, knight c4 is too aggressive. You should have just played b4 instead. b5, I'm sorry, b5, and just keep going at it. Check, king d7, don't trade knights. Interesting. The way that you play that position, you blunder a whole pawn in that position. F takes h4. If now, the position is going to be a little bit tricky because you blunder a whole position. After king g6, you should have just played knight c6. Knight c6 check, and if they play a3, just go e4. I mean e5. After e5, again, it's going to be very, very dynamic for you, and you can just keep attacking. King g, check, e4. See, you just let your opponent just break on the center. At the pawn takes, this is just advantage. Pawn takes, no, check. I rather would have played knight a2 check, but all right, takes. Knight e4, keep going, knight d7. It looks like you might be able to hold this position now. But after going up and down with the knight, you had to look for a plan here. Stop it. Stop his plan. He's going to try to push his pawns all the way up on the queen side and try to create a pass pawn. And again, moving the knight up and down is not the best response. You could have just make a move like play a6, stop it. But what a6 is that he's going to take advantage of the dark squares as well. So again, this position is very tricky. Um, the way that's most playable in this position, and again, it could be a little bit tricky, guys. But let's see what would have happened if before 97, before 96. Oh, he got 96, and he's gonna hit you with that one soon. Check, and he wins the pawn. And after just trading pieces, it's just before it takes, pawn takes, and that just basically almost the game over. Either way, it was a very fascinating game from Rosie's part. She did pretty good. Again, it's just a matter of how you kids play the openings. My best pick is just work on openings and keep working on tactics because from what I'm seeing right now, from the positional aspect of the game, there's a lot of stuff that you guys can work on. But again, great games from both sides. You kids play pretty good. Rosie, great, amazing game. Let's review. I think I got time for a couple more games. Let me review another game I want to look at. Very fascinating one too. Um, let me go for another. Oh, we got Lewis from PS11. All right, I'll check that. Hopefully, if we come back, let me check another game from another different section that I haven't had the chance to check on. Let me just keep going. Let me just keep going. Under 1500, let me just go back. Let me just go back a little bit. Let me just check this section real quick. Oh, I will send these with me in my classroom. It's fun though. Tournaments. Let's check that real quick, guys. Finish today's matches. And let me check a game that I wanted to check on this section because I didn't have the chance to check. And he's a very, very strong kid. Oh, we got Sophia. Woo! From PS33. Good job. Mera. All right. I see Mera from PS11. Wow. I really wanted to analyze those games though. We got a lot of good kids in this section. Let's look real quick at Elliot Goodrich game. Another young kid, very promising kid, a kid very strong, talented kid. I've been watching this kid very closely from PS77, and I want to see the game he won. I wanted to view that game first. I didn't have the chance, but I came back. He's playing Chris from PS49. Let me see how this game actually went because Elliot is this type of player that he plays very tactical, and I feel comfortable when he plays tactical because again he can see a lot of stuff going on in any position. For example, e4, e5, knight c3, normal. This is what we call the Vienna game. The Vienna game is very tactical because at one point you have to play f4, but again, there's a lot of ways of playing this kind of opening. Knight f6, f4. Good job. He played f4 right away. F4 is one of the best moves if you're going to play the Vienna Gambit or the Vienna game. If you don't play f4, so what's the point of basically playing a Gambit? Especially this kind of opening. Pawn takes e5, knight g8. Um, if you're going to play this kind of opening, again, you have to be aware that in this position after f4, you could just play d6. D6, or you could just play another strong move. It's D5. D5, so you can counter attack on the center. By playing D5, if F take, you take with the knight on E4. But by playing a move like the one you did, Elliot taking the pawn, it gives white an opportunity to just create a counter play in the center after playing E4. Knight G8, right now you're in a disadvantage of the position. So you had to play knight F3, D6, D4, takes, pawn takes. I think pawn takes is not the best response here. It's if D6 in this position, four is correct, but after pawn takes, the best response in this position is just to give away your pawn. In this position, one of the best moves in the Vienna Gambit, there's a line here that's very tactical, and the line is to just play bishop c4. And if pawn takes d5, just castle, sacrifice a piece. But that's a topic for another day. But it's very tactical, and that's one of the main lines of the gambit, though, sacrificing. Pawn takes, knight takes, knight c6. So right now, even though at the opening, Elliot kind of did a mistake, he's bouncing back. So let's keep looking at it. Knight f2, bishop g4, blunders a whole piece, their position. This position blunders a whole piece. Look at this. Let's go back. Knight f2, bishop g4. Elliot, that's a blunder piece. That's a totally blunder piece. What happened with this little friend we got here? Let me see that little friend moving. This little friend I got here moving, you see it? This friend can actually eat this free piece. It can eat this free piece. So you had to be aware of what's going on. So bishop takes f4, you take the knight. That was a lucky game because that would have been a wrap, losing a piece right away in the opening. So pawn takes, knight d5, you taking advantage, good job. Again, you had to be aware that when you're playing openings, you had to castle right away, guys. You had to castle right away. I see a lot of games where everyone is having their king on the middle and everything. And again, we don't want to have that on a chess game. We want to try to apply all the chess concepts that we know. We had to apply them on the game. And just eating pawns right away is not the best possible move in this position. Take pawn b2. Basically, in this position, again, I mean, it looks like white is completely winning. After bishop c6, it looks like white is completely winning. Check. I win a piece. f6 pawn takes, check, check, and I just take the piece. And it looks like Elliot is having a rough time in this position because he just lost a piece here. After bishop check, moving your king, bishop g3, pawn takes. It just looks like a wrap. Check. Pawn knight h3 checks. I take the rook. And now just, this game is going to look like it's going to be a wrap in this position. See? It looks like now all the position. Oh, blunder. This is what we call blunder now? Let me see what's going on. Check, right? Looks very interesting. Let's go back a little bit in this position, though, because it sounds fascinating. In this position, white actually did a blunder here. After winning the game with bishop e4, he just played king h7 and rook g5 is the losing, not losing because white is still winning, but it's a totally blunder, especially in a position like this. Pawn takes, but the winning move here, the winning move actually is after pawn takes, white has rook takes knight. Let me just go back again, guys. I'm sorry. Because this and that position here, right? Let's go all the way fast because I know you guys can see all my scroll downs quick. After this position, pawn takes, check, knight h3, you're winning a whole piece. Knight f4. There's a lot of stuff going in this position. After rook g3 check, g6 check, 97, take, rook g5. This is the position that is going to be very critical now because there's a tactical shot here. I'm assuming that Chris didn't start this tactical shot, but this is one of the most interesting tactical shot in the position though, because you after pawn takes, you got rook takes knight, and if rook takes knight, you got knight g6 check, and basically winning again. Let's keep reviewing. Pawn takes, knight takes pawn. You take. Again, this is very normal in any position because you want to try to just win right away quick. And at the plane at f4 check, and just basically looks like it's going to be a mate pretty soon. Wow. I see a lot of pieces being blundered right now. Um, Basically looks like it's going to be mate and pretty soon, a couple moves. Knight d3, can see 2. Pawn takes. Now it looks like a draw. This position looks like a draw. Let's see how they're gonna proceed this position. At the rook h1 at a set, very normal. All right, I can see that happening. You got 95 check, take c3, and this is what I think we call a draw in a position right now. After being a position like this where it was very complicated, you had to, oh, pawn takes, and wow. Well, we can see here that Mr. Gurvich actually won this position. And wow, that is something else. From being on a completely losing position, he actually did the mistake of just trading rooks and just pushing the pawn, lose. It would have been a draw on the position, but right now it's just basically a trade of pieces and black wins. So nothing, guys. Wow, this was a little bit fun. Not a little bit, it was great. So guys, hopefully, please, I'm gonna advise you. My best advice is please do puzzles, do a lot of puzzles. That's gonna help your tactics a lot because I see a lot of stuff on the games that you guys are not applying. I need you guys to just do a lot of tactics, please. Another thing that's gonna be super helpful for those kids advanced. Please do the advanced lessons on chess kids. They're gonna help you out. I've been watching a couple of them. They met interesting. Please be advised, do those lessons. Again, I had a great time just analyzing the games. Hopefully tomorrow I'm gonna be here again, analyzing the games. My other piece of advice is we host, for those who are watching our channel, we host tournaments every day on Chess Kids. Please, I'm gonna advise you that's a good way of training. Just log in, go into Chess Kids, play the tournaments. It's a good way to just play with your teammates, get a feel of how strong are you getting, what our lessons and everything, and hopefully you guys are gonna do great. I see the ICA page, hey Coach Nash and Russ and everyone giving a shout out. Nothing, guys. I appreciate Coach Erica being here again, helping me out with the process. And nothing, guys. Hopefully you're gonna see me tomorrow and throughout the whole week, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, guys. Take care, guys. Have a good night.
All right, awesome job, Coach Alex. Awesome job. So we're gonna end the stream now.